Is it better lighting? Much better. I wonder how these. I got a nice golden glow. Yo, what's good? I'm chilling, man. Pretty good. Yeah, very good, you could say. How you doing, my guy? I've actually been working on this kind of like, I've been doing this for the last few days where I've been working on this like experimental improvisation exercise, just thinking about improv, right? Just like trying to create like an interactive style of content. But it's been going great. Makes a lot of sense. Like the essence of it is basically like I make content where I'm just like playing a riff, right? I can play this riff and then I'm just like, where do you think this riff is going to go next? Just exercising the means of like people exercising and developing their ability to improvise, where it's like there's all these different places of where they could go with a riff. And I'm curious to see, almost like making the viewer exercise that improvisation muscle or that part of their mind where there's like, because you could just be like, you could go here, that'd be dope, or you could just go like. Go back to. So many places to go, so many pathways. Because it's like in the moment, it's like, where would this riff? Yo, it's good, thank you. Where would this riff go? It's like, you could be here, and you could be like, okay, we could go from the 5th to the 7th. But you could also be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the 17th, to the 15th, 12th. Pop up to this 19, 22. It's just like there's so many different options, and it's brilliant because it's a very simple process. And that's kind of what I'm just with this content that I'm making. I'll return to the improv, is basically just exercising that and showcasing that, so people can start to plant those seeds, ideas. Yo, what's going on, Mr. Shin Utes? What's poppin'? We're just chilling, just working on some improv flow. Just see what flows through. I guess, or what are some of your guys' favorite guitarists that you're sort of really resonating with right now? Whether it's just like a band or it's just straight up just like solo guitarists. For me, I find I've been super stoked on Marcin. The Marcin, the dude from America's Got Talent, but also just like Ichika Nito. Yeah, always Ichika Nito. He's just a dope dude. Play without seeing what you're doing. I mean, dog, I can 1000% do that. Majority of the time, I don't think I'm looking anyways. It's not too bad because I can improvise. My eyes are closed right now. Ooh, those tapping legato comes. If I would be like, yeah, just pure eyes closed. Yeah, those legatos get kind of bosh, but I think, yeah, for guitar, I swear a lot of it, once you get to a point like, you're like intermediate and beyond or something, you get to basically everything's by felt experience, like you feel. So even if my eyes are closed, like as long as I have a strong reference point, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely on this 7th here, definitely on my 5th here. It gives you like really strong recognition of your reference points. Which is rotting. Word. Hey, that's valid. I mean, I think about this a lot. Where I think naturally guitar has a very high a very high learning curve. And I think for a lot of people, a lot of people, it's almost like they, for whatever reason, they're like their physical, the physical learning curves. The ability to say have calluses or say have dexterity in their hands. It kind of just stops them. But yeah, I mean, I think about this a lot. I don't know. You should maybe watch my one video where I'm talking about. I think one of the core reasons why people even get creative blocks right is because they don't really recognize. Because I'll be honest, the reason why I wake up every single day and have for like, 10 years, and I'm just like avid to pick up the guitar is because I literally have an infinite amount of little goals and visions related to the guitar. And what I mean by this is literally like, say I look at the guitar, right? And I'm just like, I know that, well, I could go, or I could go, I recognize that there's literally infinite pathways in front of me. There's infinite patterns and different sort of woven pathways that exist. And my mind is adamant to weave them together, to figure out how many infinite combinations I can connect. And I really feel, and what this is basically it's novelty. It's in your playing style, you create novelty. And this is, for me, this is where when improvising, I can play the same chord right there, or the same note. And I can play it like 100 different ways if I desire to. Oh, I'm messing that up. There's literally so many endless ways that you can create the same riff. And you can do this with everything. Where it's literally, for me, it's like I literally just like, I played the Picasso bow, which is like a guitar violin bow. And for me, it's like, I am very adamant to be like, all right, word, how many ways can I incorporate the Picasso bow, the sound of a violin in my playing style? Blank sheet in color with music. That's, yeah, dog. That's actually a huge 1000% a major element. It's just like you can connect emotionally and even spiritually with the guitar, then you will 1000% never find, I would say, you would always find emotional context and context that continuously resonates with your experience. Yeah, 100%. I think emotional context and how you connect with the instrument is massive. Because I know for me, it's like, if I were to look at the betterment of why exactly, for those watching offline or will chime in, the reason why I think guitar has lasted, 10, 15, 16 years as it has, the majority of that is literally just me emotionally connecting with the instrument. There's no days where I've just like had a very difficult days, been processing, integrating a lot, a lot of dense emotions. And then my go-to choice, alongside, because this is the idea, I think the guitar is a tremendous instrument for transmuting raw energy. And when we think of transmuting raw energy, maybe you think of going to the gym. Maybe I think of that. Maybe you think of dancing. Maybe you think of, I don't know, seeing a partner, making love, or whatever it is. You can do all of these things. But the guitar, that is making music, that is just simply playing a chord, right? This is also an infinite portal to transmute raw energy. So simply, again, the reason I genuinely feel that I've been able to play guitar and have this stand the test of time of like 10, 15, 16 years is because the guitar for me has served that role where it's like, if I'll have, again, full circle, have the worst days of my life or just be stressed or, feeling maybe angry or turmoilic or, indifferent, or whatever I feel, you can transmute that into the guitar. And actually, readily, it will translate very well into the guitar. Whether this is, just like you're laying down a chord progression and then speaking over top of this, singing over top of this, doing spoken word, poetry, rap, flow, whatever it is you're design or desire to do. It's just like the guitar is a very powerful transmuting energy. And if you can recognize that, if you have the vision to be like, man, I'm having the worst day of my life feels hopeless, existence, etc. And then you transmute that, you make that pivotal choice to be like, to pick up a guitar, I don't know, pick up a piano or play a piano. You can't pick up a piano, but do whatever you desire to do with this, and you transmute that energy. You'll recognize the infinite potential of transmuting this energy. And then in time, maybe 10 plus years or whatever amount of time it takes you, once you transmuted energy, you've emotionally connected with this instrument and recognize the infinite potential, then you'll get to this place, like where I'm sort of at, where you can basically see this as now as a puzzle, as a game. You recognize you have a foundation that basically is giving you the ability to connect with other people alongside yourself with this very same instrument. Because it's almost like, because the core essence of the guitar, I think it's a very interesting, it's almost like spiritual quest, is it begins with our own emotional context. It begins with us learning to channel and experience our emotions in a singular context, right? You're experiencing this, you're channeling, you're directing all this energy into this instrument. But then what you recognize over the years is the core essence of this. Yo, that's awesome. That's the best way to receive a guitar, I feel. Yo, facts. That's awesome, dog. Well, I think that's a major reason why I make these, well, why I do these streams and I make content, is like, my core intention is literally just to showcase riffs. Like, I want to, some people, maybe they just want to hear background music. They enjoy the meditative style of it. I know I personally love this style. This is why I play it. But yeah, it's like maybe some people, they just want to hear an instrument and be like, oh, word, maybe this will plant a seed of inspiration. They see a riff, they see a chord. For some reason, I just returned to that same chord, but yeah, that's another good chord. And you just be like, word, maybe that's something you can apply one day if you desire to, but that's another good chord. How long can you stay without your guitar? How long can you stay without my guitar? I love that question. But I'll quickly summarize what I was speaking to prior, where, yeah, I think very simply what I was speaking to, I'll conclude this, is what's interesting is guitar starts as a solo journey, right? You're transmitting your emotions. It really starts this way. It's a singular endeavor. But what you realize in time is actually the core intention of why you're playing this is connection, is unification. Very simply, it's to jam with other people, to connect musically with other people, to collaborate, to unify yourself with another person. But yeah, dog. But how long can you stay? I love this question. Okay, the answer is actually, I choose to play guitar every day as much as humanly possible. But if I don't have my guitar, what I do is I dance, like, in all the time, incandescently. Like, it's kind of bizarre where it's like, and actually how I know this is if I'm on like a film set where I'm like, I have to act or something, or be on a film set all day, I dance. I do micro tutting and macro tutting, which is something I've done which uses this very same pathways. And it also, just like I was speaking with guitar, it has an emotional context. You're somatically and emotionally connecting with dance. And that's the element of where if I didn't have my guitar for like a week, I would be okay. Why? Because I would just sit there and focus, slipping into dance flow states. I'd be focusing my training, doing handstands, like doing dynamic explosive movements, which all then indirectly, when I do pick up my guitar, would directly channel all the energy into guitar. I would wake up a week later, whenever I had my guitar, maybe a month later, and I would be even better at guitar because I've just directed all that indirectly. But yeah, That's also, I think, a key element of understanding how to succeed at creative pathways is you create a balanced model of experiencing creative energy. So even if you're not, say, directing your energy into one particular thing like the guitar or maybe songwriting, you have a balanced model of different creative disciplines that all flow into each other. So then even if you're not practicing one, they're all indirectly influencing each other. But yeah, how long did it take you to learn guitar? Is it easy? I mean, well, for me, I started when I was like, like 9 or 10. So I was really bad at it for like 5, 6 years. Like, when I was a kid, I didn't really know how to, I was learning to learn. And I probably wasn't good until like 6, 7, maybe 8 years into the guitar journey. So from a 9-year old, I was like 16, 17. That's when I was like okay. I was like decent. I wouldn't say I got like really good until I was like mid 20s. So like literally like this is like year 11, 12, 13. That's when I got like good where I was like, "Oh, damn, like I understand music. I can compose, I can teach it." And yeah, but I think is guitar easy? In the essence, yes. Like this is the bizarre thing is like guitar doesn't need to be complex. It doesn't need to be difficult. It doesn't need to be. And that's actually a really important thing I think to understand as a person trying to learn music is guitar is not quintessentially difficult. Now, there are learning curves, 1000%. Like if you were to be like, I don't have a guitar, I've never played, and you try to like play chords, you try to do legatos, you try to do bar chords, there's learning curves. And what these learning curves are physical learning curves that are present in your hands. Your hands need to be conditioned. Your calluses need to be conditioned. And this is the core difference between, say, a piano and a guitar is piano, there's actually very little learning curves. Maybe if you want to have some finger strength and dexterity present, that's beautiful. But for a piano, you don't need to develop calluses. You don't need to have a specific sort of awareness of how to press tension on a fretboard and navigate steel strings. But yeah, it's just like, I mean, there's unique difficulties on the piano, but in truth, for a guitar, all you really need to do, like the real simplest part, if you're like, all right, I want to learn to play a guitar, if you can play 4 chords, you probably heard this before, right? It's like A minor chord, G major chord, D chord, and like a chord, right? If you can play 4 chords, you're playing guitar, right? Now maybe again you want to have muscle strength, you want to have maybe like an awareness of the sort of pressure tension points. Ideally, you want to have calluses, but this is the thing is if you hear a musician that you like, you hear like a band, you hear any sort of band and you hear their music, you can basically map out some simple guitar chords. Like I could listen to anything and just be like, oh, okay, they're doing like this chord, maybe they're doing this chord and they're doing this chord or whatever, right? Or more, it's more common they're doing shit like. But the idea is if you can find a simple chord progression and just play with that, like literally just be like, I remember one of the first songs that I really connected with when I was younger was hey, thank you, is 30 Seconds to Mars, The Kill. It goes like, it's like, it's literally that. It's like, that's those 4 chords, right? Bonjour. That's the whole song, right? The Kill. And then they also go up to like, it's like the whole song is like those two relations of 4 chords and this little riff that's like 5, 6 notes. But the idea is that once you, thanks, Doc. I like French. I like the French language, but in essence, yeah, it's like guitar can be easy, and when you're starting, recognize that if you know like 4 chords and you just like bang out 4 chords and you successfully get that down, you're just like, okay, I got these chords down, no problem. Then you can start singing. Then you can start like emotionally connecting with these 4 chords, and next thing you know, you've composed. You could literally just be like, I know 4 chords. And then you start singing, be like blah 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 blah, singing your heart out, saying 4 words, saying words, and you've created a composition. And then suddenly you're technically playing guitar. It's not difficult per se. Now, once you get deeper in your guitar, you'll recognize that a lot of people, like a lot of guitarists, like a lot of really talented, passionate human beings, they've taken guitar to a very advanced level. And that is beautiful. And obviously, this is a course of 10, 20, 30 years of their life where they've just been like, applying these simple things and then just taking it to a level of mastery. And what we can take away from this is guitar, particularly, it can become advanced, but it only is advanced because they understand the simple elements. And even further, they honor the simple elements. They could hear a riff that's so simple as it should be, and they'll just be like, oh, that is beautiful. And for whatever reason, they desire to be like, well, and it's like, man, I can weave in all these beautiful elements, but yeah, it's like, yeah. Went off on a little tangent there, but I think that was a good talk, though. I think I'm gonna release that as content. Thank you, Seabrin. Seabrin, I think I pronounced that right. Appreciate it. Letting yourself return to your somatic body. One that is regulated, one that is conscious, that is present with stillness. That is at peace knowing that you are complete, you are whole exactly as you are, exactly where you are, right? You don't have to accomplish or do anything, quintessentially. Experience playing at night in the forest near the campfire. Yeah, oh yeah, dog. Probably not as many times as I think that would happen, but definitely, man, let me think. Nighttime campfire. I think, yeah, that actually, usually it's at, strangely enough, usually if I'm like at a guitar, I mean, at a, at a forest in like nighttime with a guitar, usually it's actually at dawn. So it's like as like daybreak is um is dawning, because I was at like a forest rave or a festival, right? And then I'll just happen to like wake up at like 4 in the morning or something, or 5 in the morning, and then I'll just like bring my guitar and just like play as daybreak is arising. But yeah, I'm trying to think when I've been at a campfire. Campfire. I definitely jump at the opportunities to just like play in nature around other people, where it's like, where it's almost like, I notice it's like if you go to like a music festival, right? Or you're maybe camping with friends, I noticed that there's always a very pivotal moment where everyone's just trying to decompress, right? Especially at a music festival. Everyone's just like dancing, maybe partying, maybe drinking, doing whatever, maybe doing psychedelics. And there's always like a pivotal moment where everyone's just chilling. Like everyone's just like hanging at your camp, and everyone's just kind of like drinking water, kind of enjoying the nature and the sun. And I find these are often beautiful moments. For me, I'm just like playing for myself, just enjoying the sort of the guitar experience, and it seems that that creates like an atmosphere. It creates an ambience where I'm like accenting the energy of what's going on here. The people around me, and yeah, it's like it's a beautiful energy. It's like there's this mutual exchange of energy where I'm just playing, enjoying the atmosphere, and then the people are enjoying the atmosphere that I'm enjoying, and then I'm enjoying that, and it creates this sort of synergy. And that's actually a very interesting thing, because I think about this a lot, is say I'm on like a film set or something, or happens a lot when I'm busking naturally, but if I'm just like chilling somewhere, right, and I decide to just like play guitar to perform, and I'm just like flowing in the state, I'm naturally feeding off of the energy of the people around me. Like if someone's like really resonating with the energy and they're just like, yeah, this is awesome, and they're approaching me, or maybe someone's just watching me and they're appreciating it, that is inspiring the composition, just as much as me creating it, as their energy is inspiring this. And actually, I see this a lot with dance. Now, this is maybe not something everyone's familiar with, but if you're in like the dance scene or the rave scene, there's a thing called basically light gloving. It's like a style of tutting where you're basically giving a person like a solo dance performance. And I do this a lot because I go to raves and I love just like dancing and celebrating. And yeah, it's the exact same thing. When you're in a performance and you see somebody that's just like in love with your expression, usually it's a woman, because women are very receptive to dance and movement, as all creative energy. And I will feel that energy. I'll literally feel their enthusiasm, and then I'll just allow that to actually inspire my movement choices. And it goes without saying, it's historically, I really feel, obviously all human beings, like I'm inspired by you guys here, men and women. I'm inspired by the people on my channel, supporters, but yeah, I found historically the relationship, actually Terence McKenna speaks of this a lot, and I love his explanation for this very much. If you've ever been interested in philosophy and listening to Terence McKenna, he speaks of Terence McKenna creativity, one of the most incredible talks ever on YouTube. I actually have an improvisation where I'm improvising on top of that, but basically speaks of the relationship with the muse. You have the energy of an infinite campfire calm. Hell yeah, brother. Thank you. It's funny, I've genuinely never been around a lot of campfires, but I always hop at the opportunity. Yeah. But yeah, what I think is very beautiful, and this is a very quintessential model, is the relationship with the muse. The relationship with, an inspiring source of energy. This is something that I've actually, especially when I was younger, like 10, 11 years ago, I would meet always every couple of years one particular woman that would just like electrify my inspiration. Like, I mean, to a degree where, like, obviously, all women, all people can inspire you in ways, but there's, for some reason, there's these rare experiences. Maybe it's just like they really like, they resonate with you on a level musically, right? Like musically, they just like listen to some really awesome music and they share music with you, and you're just like, damn, this person's in a very interesting resonance. And it inspires you to be like, word, I'm just going to get experimental, create very experimental, bold, unapologetic music, which is beautiful. But yeah, it's like, I think there's always something, there's something beautiful that is present here. And if we now fast forward to where I personally see myself now, is basically what I'm speaking about is tuning into heart resonance. Like, this is something that I've recognized as of late. I started doing this. I had a couple of videos that I posted where I kind of just decided, I was like, all right, what if I actually channeled the energy of people in my life? Whether this people inspire me, this is women in my life that I'm connecting with romantically. It's like I would let myself feel into their energy. Like, I literally just like think of them, feel into their energy. Sort of like that. And it would be cool. It's like you're basically channeling the energy of a human being. It's like a woman in your life, and you're creating off of them. And this is literally like almost the quintessential essence of your relationship with the muse. Like, you're just like, you find someone, you're ruminating the energy of love for them, or for just the energy of who they are, and then you're channeling this to music. And I've done this a lot lately, and it really is cool. Yo, that's awesome, brother. That's great, man. I feel like I've had that in my life frequently. Like, I actually feel like I owe a lot of people in my life, especially when I was younger. Yeah, that's sort of that piece of it. It's just like, and And that's a huge piece of what I desire to do as a creator, is literally just like putting my energy out there, trying to be as authentic as possible, literally just to make people realize, give themselves permission to be as authentic as they can be in their life. Because you don't recognize, bro, it's like for real, once you show up as your most authentic self and you start to give other people permission, you give yourself more permission, it changes people's lives very fast. Like, you recognize another part of showing up authentically is this reality. Like, the reality is a lot of people, they're suppressing their authenticity. They're in a place where when you're showing up like unapologetically and authentically, it can project, it can trigger their ego or trigger their own sort of projections. And that's okay. And very simply, when you get to a place where you gravitate and attract all these authentic people in your life, be it partners, friendships, training partners, all sorts of people, communities of authentic people, then you're going to be celebrated. You're going to be valued for your authenticity. But 1000%, authenticity doesn't always look like just being, I'd say blissful and happy and expressive and everyone's just like celebrating for you. Sometimes you just got to be authentic no matter what. No matter what the people in your life think, or no matter if you feel anxiety or insecure about this, that, or if people are maybe not, they're not celebrating you, or they're maybe like trying to even project negative things on you, you just got to be your most authentic truth right now, no matter what that is. And the simple part of what I'm saying is you can recognize that if you're being authentic with your truth, with yourself, what you're going to recognize is every person in your life will benefit from it. Doesn't matter if these are people that are projecting their negative, models of who you are or their own self or their insecurities, or the people that are celebrating you. Like, man, this person's doing great stuff. Everyone will benefit from your authenticity. Whether if it's triggering their own insecurities or their own negative inflections to make them now have to unpackage that and sit with that, or if it's people that just resonate with you and just love your energy, is like, people need to just be their authentic selves. I genuinely feel the reason why a majority of us experience strife, experience struggles, experience fragmentation with ourselves and in the world is because we're just simply not experiencing our authentic expression of self. So whether you're doing that through music or just like, just speaking your mind, and just, the world needs authenticity. It needs your authenticity. It needs my authenticity. It needs all of that. Like, this world is like crushed under the weight of people inauthentically living, or more so suppressing their authentic truth. And especially in 2025, where we have this honor, we have this ability to be creators, to be streamers, to be content creators, to do whatever we are, right? We can put out our authentic truth. We can penetrate the models. We can challenge these systems with authenticity, as we should. Improvisation rocks, man. Sweet. All right, 35, man, this is great. Time is just not real right now. It's great. It's wild too, because it's like 1:13, where it's like, I deadass, like, I swear, half the time at these like 12 o'clock streams, I'm just like chilling. It's just like, most people are probably at work or just kind of doing things, so I'm always just like stoked. Or people from other parts of the world, they're just like chiming in. I'm like, sick, like, this is great. Yeah, I am. I'm in BC, yeah, British Columbia, Canada. How about you, man? As well, because like BC, particularly like the Canada or like the mid of Canada, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. I really like Russians, like the culture. Very much, yeah. Vancouver is a very interesting subculture because like where I live in BC, it's literally like it's like this. I would say like what's the word? It's like a multicultural sort of portal where literally so many different cultures. Hey, what's going on, Jennifer? I'm pretty good. Yeah, I've been really good lately. Yeah, just like lots of good stuff unraveling. But yeah, it's just very much what I love about Vancouver is like I mean for the better and for the worse, it's like it's a continuous concentration of different cultures that are all sort of meeting in this place, but it's like a reflection of the human beast where, you know, a lot of us in this city culture. I mean, I live in Coquitlam, so I'm not in like Vancouver, the city area. I'm like on the brink where I live near like I'm 5 minutes away from basically the deepest, endless, untouched forests in all of Coquitlam. And it's beautiful. It's great. But yeah, it's like you'll see that very simply my point was that in the cities of Vancouver, you'll see that a lot of people are locked in. They're trapped. They're trapped in the programming. You know, they're locked in this incandescent, endless sort of means of yeah, just not being their authentic selves. You know, not being able to show up with that. That's so good. Hey, why? Thank you. Yeah. So why not watching you? Of course. How have you been? I definitely have. I've been grateful to sort of feel that the universe has been just like definitely blessing me in ways where I'll just like, you know, it's kind of like, I mean, I've always felt like grateful, but it's interesting to see how the last like year and a half beyond where I'm just like, damn, like, what have I done to deserve this? Like, but yeah, lately, I mean, even just especially as I've created this channel, like, the core, the reason why I know this YouTube channel is going to succeed is not because of like, I don't know, like analytics and maybe content this that. I mean it's got all, you know, the value is there, but my intention with this channel has been crystal clear since I made this particular direction like 3 months ago, where it's just like my intention of this channel literally just is to basically just yeah, just connect with musicians, connect with this domain of this community. I forgot sort of my stream of thought. But in essence, yeah, it's like my intention is pure. Like I feel like I desire to create this portal to connect with people. for your muse, once, which was me one time. Of course. You're absolutely an inspiration. It's funny, I was talking about that a lot recently, just like 5 minutes ago. Just how the relationship with the muse and yeah, and just like resonating on that sort of like heart energy. You're in, where was it? Forget, it was either Austria or Australia. I'm definitely in a place where I'm gonna start, hopefully in these next like 6, 7 months when I'm starting to get monetized, just start traveling. Cold Austria. I mean, the cold. I'll be honest. I love the cold. I'm a fan of the cold. I'm kind of weird that way, but yeah, it's good to see you as well. I appreciate the good words. But I legitimately, I'm a fan of like cold plunges and cold exposure, and I love the elements. That's awesome. Honestly, I've actually had some good friends in Russia that I've just been like, told me a lot about Russia. Seems like a cool place. Pripyat. It's great. That was very cool. Actually, I found there was this one chick from Sweden or Iceland that popped on the stream the other day. It was trippy as fuck. Like she was talking about like, what is it? Swedish or ancient Icelandic magic. Because I guess I was doing like a meditative sound journey, and she was really resonating with like that aspect, and she was kind of just talking about how she does like magic and rituals, and I was just like, this. I was like, this is dope. Like this is very resonant because like I personally have a lot of love for some reason I've always wanted to go to Iceland. Like I really would love to just learn Swedish and travel these certain areas of Sweden one day. Oof, and some rosin for that. Let's go. I'm happy that you chimed in, brother. Honestly. What do? Keep watching voodoo is not good. Like voodoo word. I'm sure. I have a feeling you're right. Where it's like there's certain dimensions of like magic practice that definitely becomes like a dark. It's like witchcraft, which I think witchcraft. I think like probably not the worst thing, but I'm sure there's dark domains. I believe in like light magic. 100%. I'm sure 1000% that's true. I definitely feel it's interesting. I've noticed when I was young, I would go to raves a lot where I would just connect with people through dance. And I got to this place where I became really good at like moving energy via dance. And it's funny how over the years, like 10, 15 years through that process, I met people that like practice, like usually they're like, in like medicine circles, they do like lots of light language and dance and expression, and they'll sort of feel the energy of what I'm doing. Like I remember the first time someone expressed their like word, that's crazy. You're not just dancing, you're actually moving energy and creating portals. And I was just like, oh, it's like, damn, that's crazy. And and it's beautiful because it's like I definitely feel like very grateful to explore those domains of just positive, like empowering domains of what I would say is magic, where it's like, be it if I'm like, connecting with the person through dance and putting good energy into them through a dance kind of expression, or connecting with them, collaborating with them, or if I'm creating a sound journey. I 1000% believe the essence of at least what I've tried to understand and unpackage more when I'm practicing things like I'd say creating sound journeys or intentional sort of like visualization, or trying to learn stuff related to like lucid dreaming. It's like, yeah, it's all about intentionality, like really like the essence of like deeply rooted intention. And I feel like as I create these streams, as I'm creating sound journeys or doing meditative sound journeys or wherever it goes, always, if not like 99% of the time, I'm very conscious of my intention. Like I very much am trying to instill as much positive words and affirmations and thoughts in these experiences. And really, it's the only way that I know how to do this, and the only way I desire to do this. Mm. Which do something with everybody. Also animal. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love the way that, I mean, yeah, what I've been doing lately is actually strange. I don't know if it's a coincidence. When I go to the forest near my house and I do streams, like this happened like 4 or 5 times when it was nicer weather. I would, rove with my guitar and have my camera attached, and I would run to these two chipmunks. There was these sometimes three, but usually these two chipmunks, and they would always be hanging. And it's funny, the more that I came there, and I would always be playing guitar, like be playing music, and then I would just like come up to these chipmunks and then just hang out with them. Like I would just come and then just start playing guitar, kind of inspired by them, and just like playing to these chipmunks. And often we just hang out for like 10, 20 minutes. Like they'd just be chilling, eating their nuts, or just kind of spiraling around trees, coming up to me. And it was just like, yeah, there's always a very special connection you can create with animals. They're very receptive to certain dimensions of music, especially cats. Like that's actually very much so. Word, of course. Yeah, it's actually so it's 1:28 right now. But yeah, like in the PM. Beautiful. Thank you so much for chiming in. It's beautiful to feel your presence. It's absolutely. Appreciate you. Amazing. Have a great night, Jennifer. appreciate you chiming in, brother. Probably end the stream in the next like 10 minutes, maybe pop on TikTok, say what's up, and then go on with my day. But yeah, with the Van Larkins. Word, I don't think so. Let me search him up right here. Let's see. Van. Candy Rat. Oh, word. Candy Rat's fucking awesome. Yeah, but not familiar. Candy Rat's actually where I discovered a lot of my favorite artists, quintessentially. Legitimately. Cinder Moon. Cinder Moon. Let's see what we got here. This is actually ideal as fuck. Having my guitar or having my computer right here. Oh, getting hit with some ads. But yeah, straight up, like my favorites, one of my favorite artists, like Annie McKee and Grayson Earhart, among actually a few other artists like Callum Graham and so many awesome artists, are from Candy Rat. Like that's where I discovered them. Whoa. Damn, I like this cinematography or videography already. Wow, that's so chill. He's just vibing. But he's got a great beard too. Sweet. Yeah, I can appreciate. Definitely appreciate some good harmonics. I like this key he's playing in. It's like one of my favorite keys to play in. Very interesting. Yeah, thank you for the recommendation. Beautiful. Wow, that's such a beautiful guitar too. It's actually cool as fuck. I'm probably gonna post a short some point about this where I was at Long McQuaid because I was looking at amps, right? And I got this beautiful Blackstar amp with the charger thing. But basically, I spent like 2.5 hours literally chilling in Long McQuaid, and it was so fucking fun. I literally was just like live streaming the entire time. But the idea was, when I was in Long McQuaid, I went into the little room right in the acoustic guitar section where they have like 5, 6, 7 grand guitars, like the most beautiful, like Martins and freaking brands that I've never heard of that were just like the most masterful, beautiful guitars. And I played like 5, 6, 7 of them alongside trying around like ukuleles and freaking classical guitars and pianos and all this awesome stuff. Hey, wicked. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you chiming in, brother. Feel free to follow this channel. I do lives quite frequently. That's like something I've just been enamored with, but I very much, I love what my channel is about. Is I'm just here to kind of like be a portal for guitarists and musicians as a whole to kind of just like learn elements of like harmonics, improvisation, you know, just legatos and all that stuff. Yeah. But also just to kind of create this meditative sound journey. At the hour mark, I'm probably going to end this stream. Very nice. I've been playing about 16 years. Yeah, like acoustic guitar, like 9 or 10 of those, and then electric guitar, yeah, like 5, 6 years before that. But very much, yeah, acoustic guitar has been my focus for like the last like 9, 10 years. And honestly, it's been like seriously what has like really like accelerated my process as a musician and composer. It's just like being in that place where I really just developed my style from the acoustic, like finger style, exactly like the artist Van Larkins. Like those artists are like the core inspirations. That's good stuff. Good stuff. How about you, brother? Daz. I guess, are you a musician, or are you, you know, trying to get into music, a musical craft, musical domain? It's cool because actually I had another buddy who was chiming in. He was like asking about. He was like relatively new to guitar. He was like trying to get into it, and I guess he had learning curves. And I went off a beautiful little tangent, which I'll probably take a clip from in post. But yeah, it's basically like I really feel that for a lot of guitar, it's like it doesn't necessarily. He asked basically like, is guitar easy? And I forgot the other question he was asking, but it's like it's interesting how I feel guitar quintessentially is, in the fundamental sense, it is relatively easy. Like there's an easy aspect. Now the difference is there's a learning curve. Like the difference with guitar is it's fundamentally easy, but there's 1000% very real learning curves. And once you understand what those are and how to sort of overcome those, then fundamentally a lot of guitar is relatively easy. Like if you're just like, word, I want to play a guitar, well, let's just like play some chords, right? You know, play a chord progression. You're just like, word. And then you like create off of that, or you sing off of that. Like that is technically you're a guitarist once you can do that. But yeah, naturally it gets to like very intricate places years ago. Word. Hey, that's valid, bro. Interesting. You know, I genuinely feel like I speak about this frequently because, you know, my livelihood as of late is just like I teach people guitar, but like I really feel that the essence of a lot of playing guitar or like learning a guitar, right? It goes through phases where, and some people, it's almost like they'll maybe engage in creative blocks, or they'll be in a phase of their guitar learning journey where they maybe never return for whatever reason. And I think there's very particular reasons for that. Now, for one, I think it's important to recognize that personally, I'll be honest, the reason why I've had guitar, you know, go as long as it has, why I've actually taken to the place it is because I've recognized the means of basically indirectly directing energy. You know, that is, I engage in various disciplines that all stream and influence and inspire this cardinal engagement of the guitar, where it's like basically when I'm not playing the guitar, because there's another buddy who's a good friend who's like asked about, yeah, if it's like when I'm not playing guitar, what happens? What do I do? Like if I would not play guitar for a week, how does that go? And I explained that I would be okay not playing guitar because I would direct all my creative energy into dance or into free form movement training. You know, I would just like do various things. Like I would be doing tutting, I'd be doing handstand push-ups and dynamic explosive training, where it's like that's what I would direct all my energy into. If I was like, okay, I can't play guitar for a day, for a week, whatever, right? And then when I return to this discipline, all of that raw creative energy will be directed instantaneously into my guitar practice. So it's like I've created like this creative harmony, this creative balance with the way that I direct creative energy. And I really feel for a lot of people, they're either trying to develop that or they haven't maybe recognized that balance. I've actually, when I was discovering, I called it, it's ikigai. It is like the same practice as ikigai. Or, ikigai, it's the Japanese sort of like philosophical thing. It's like a philosophy of like the four realms where, yeah, facts, yeah. That's actually trippy because I am a twin. But yeah, I'm also Heath Ledger's twin. It's great though, because yeah, I know I'm Heath Ledger. What's good? I swear, to this day, what I think I'm gonna do at some point, I'm just gonna start getting really good at Heath Ledger impressions, and then just like doing Heath Ledger bits, just for the bit. But yeah, it's great. I'm actually in film too, so like I'm around actors a lot, and I do like roles and stuff where I'm like doing background primarily. But often people just be like, oh, where is Heath Ledger? Let's give him this, like let's dress him a lot like Heath Ledger. Let's just kind of like call him Heath, which is high praise. Oh, whoa, oh, sick. I don't know why YouTube just cut me off. Shit, that sucks. Damn. Oh well, I guess I'll take that as a sign to end the stream. Wicked. All right. Well, YouTube, they did me bad.